welcome President and Chief Marketing Officer, Salesforce, Patrick Stokes.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Agentforce World Tour New York. We're here. Guys, we did it. I don't think this is my call to make, but I think we did it. I think winter is over. I think we have finally made it to spring. We are just a few days away, a few weeks away from Memorial Day. The sun is out. The Parker House is going to open on Friday with Pat Roddy. I think we finally did it. And you know what else? You know what else? Your New York City Knickerbockers are winning games by 30 points in the playoffs. How about that last night? Amazing game. Now I'm going to apologize ahead of time. You can probably hear it in my voice, but I was not at that game last night. I didn't go because it would take me weeks to recover because I am 46 years old, but mostly because every one of the smiling people here, everybody on my team, all of our presenters, the people in the back wearing headsets, we are professionals. And we do not go out on school nights. Now, speaking of school nights, today is a school day. It's a work day, and I can't help but notice that all of you have chosen to spend that day not at work, but here with us in the Javits Center right here at Agentforce World Tour. And of course, we need to thank you for doing that. Thank you for spending your morning with us. We really appreciate it. Thank you to our customers, our amazing partners, our employees, and I see some around the room, some of our amazing trailblazers who have been with us through this entire journey. Thank you for spending your day with us here today. Now, we have a lot to unpack today. We have an incredible opportunity, a growth, a scale opportunity in front of us that I don't think any of us have really seen before, and we need to unpack all of that. But before we do, it's always a good place to start to just take a moment and reflect on our core values, the values that have been with us for 27 years of trust, customer success, innovation, equality, and sustainability. These values are so important to Salesforce, so important to the broader ecosystem that you all have created with us, and it's important for us to just reflect on these at every step. Now, these values are more than just words on a slide. They're built into the very way that we run this company, this organization, and this entire ecosystem. In fact, we think when we started this company 27 years ago, not me, but Mark and Parker, they started with this idea that business can be the greatest platform for change. And they built this model, we call it the 1-1-1 model, where 1% of our equity, 1% of our time, and 1% of our product we give back into our local communities where Salesforce is. And we're so proud of the impact that we've achieved. But the thing on this slide that I'm always most proud of is the impact that you all have achieved as well. 19,000 organizations, companies around the world have chosen to adopt this model as well. Some of you are probably in the room with us today. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for expanding that impact as well. Now, running an organization of Salesforce's size while also driving impact like that is no easy task, but we've really done it together because we believe that you can do well while doing good. And the evidence is right here on this slide. You can see this incredible growth trajectory that Salesforce has been on and some of these recognitions that we've received along the way that we're very proud of. But the thing that we like to remind ourselves here at Salesforce is that it's not just us doing this. It's really because of all of you. It's because of our customers. It's because of our partners. It's because of the trailblazers that every day wake up and think and look at their business and think of new ways that Salesforce can help solve problems and move these organizations forward. Now, you've been guiding us along that way for 27 years and really guiding all of the innovation at Salesforce as well. You know, together with all of you, we helped move into the cloud era with CRM, with Sales Cloud, moving into the cloud era and out of on-prem. We moved into the mobile era. We moved into the social era as well, and we've done that all together over 27 years, building the innovation, the technology, and the ecosystem around these big changes and disruptions. But there's another one sitting right in front of us today, and I think it's bigger than all of these combined. I think that it's the biggest growth and scale opportunity that any of us will see in our lifetimes, at least, well, most of us. Maybe there's some like 18-year-olds sitting in the room that are going to live on Mars or the moon someday, but I think it's this upcoming revolution that's going to get us there. And of course, that is the revolution of agentic AI. Agentic AI is changing every single experience. It's changing the very foundation of how software is built. And we're going to unpack that quite a bit today. But really what it is it's a growth opportunity. You can see these stats here, 30% profitability projected for banks by 2030, 85% of pharmaceutical workflows will now be enhanced by AI agents. This is just an incredible opportunity for us to rethink how our business works. And that's exactly what Salesforce has done. We don't want you to rethink your business and do that all yourself. We want to go out and pioneer that ourselves. And so about 2 years ago, Mark sat everybody down. I remember we were on an all-hands call, and he said, from this day forward, Salesforce itself is going to be an agentic enterprise. We are going to look across our entire business, and we are going to figure out what it takes to bring humans and agents together across every part of our business, across service, across sales, across our employee use cases, and even across all of our engineers. Right now, today, every single engineer at Salesforce is coding side by side with a coding agent, and this is driving our pace of innovation faster than we really ever thought was possible, and I think we're just at the bottom of that curve. It only has up to go. Now, of course, these opportunities are available to you all, but the thing that we hear most often is, where do we get started? Right? We understand the opportunity, but how do we get started? Well, at Salesforce, we didn't actually start with engineering. We didn't start with sales. We started in service. And that's exactly where we think you all can start as well, because service is something that we all kind of understand intuitively, right? We all have customers. We all have employees. Those customers and those employees, from time to time, they need help. They need help. And what's so interesting about service is it's a clear use case with clear ROI. For the most organizations, you know exactly what your service center costs you, and you know exactly what the ROI of getting that customer help is. So it's a clear and repeatable use case. Now, you want to be able to deploy that agentic service across multiple channels, across your website, across your phone, across WhatsApp, across all of your apps. And Agentforce Service helps you do exactly that. And we know that because we've done it ourselves. We started on our website. You can go to this today, help.salesforce.com. This used to be an experience designed for basically search. As a human being, you would go to help.salesforce.com. You would be presented with kind of an index, and you would search around and try to find the articles that can help you. And it wasn't a wonderful experience. Now, eventually, where it landed most of the time is you would have to open a case and then wait for a human being to pick up that case and get you help. But not anymore. Today, if you go to help.salesforce.com, you're greeted by Agentforce. You just talk to it. You ask it what you need, and it's going to help find you that answer. But every once in a while, maybe it won't, and that's okay too, because it's going to hand you off in real time to a human being, because this is all backed by Salesforce and the platform. It's not some standalone solution that you have to integrate. It's already integrated, so when you hand off to a human being, they have the full context of the conversation that's already happened. It's a really incredible experience. Now, just about a month ago, we expanded. We went from our website to something a little bit harder to do, and that is our 1-800 number. Probably everyone in this room has a 1-800 number on their website somewhere, and when you call it, what is that experience like? Well, you get that IVR process, you click button, you have to wait and understand the menu, but not with 1-800-NO software. You all can call this number, do it after the keynote, please, not right now, but you can call this number and experience what it's like to talk to Agentforce voice right now. You just start talking, you tell it what you need, and it's gonna try to get you the help. But just like help.salesforce.com, when it can't get you that help, it's just gonna seamlessly hand you off to a human being. It's going to bring all of that context, all of that information, so you're not starting from scratch. We've all experienced that when we get transferred and we have to kind of repeat our problem. That doesn't happen with Agentforce Service because it's seamlessly integrated across the entire telephony stack, across the entire contact center stack. It's all there. It's going to work for you. So this, we think, is the smartest way to get started with agentic AI. Now, we think that every company should attack this opportunity across sales, across service, across marketing, across their operations, across their supply chain. We think that every company needs to become an agentic enterprise, just like you see Salesforce doing and how you'll see some of our customers doing it in a few moments. But we also know that this is not all that easy. And the reason it's not that easy is just because it's different. It's a brand new technology. Like I said, it's changing the way software works. And what we're seeing is that in many organizations, 95% of your AI pilots are failing. They're not actually making it to production. It turns out it's pretty easy to build a little demo. It's really hard to get something enterprise ready. Well, what is it that is making it so hard? Well, what's making it so hard is that you've heard this from us before, from me before, the LLM alone, the AI alone, it turns out it's not enough. It's not enough. What you need is you need to bring your business context, your understanding, your permissions, your policies. You need to bring all of that and connect it to that LLM. It needs to have that context. It needs to be aware of who is asking the question so that the answer it gives that person isn't an answer that some other person should get. There's the complicated permissions and policies, right? These are things that I think when we build these demos, we take them for granted, but these are the things that rear their ugly head when it comes time to actually move this stuff into production. The agentic enterprises are the ones that are breaking through and solving these problems. And we're doing that because of what we're doing within Salesforce. You know, every so often, we remind ourselves of our mission. Salesforce has had the same mission for 27 years that we want to help you, our customers, connect with your customers in a whole new way. And that's really what this is all about. How can we help you connect your customers and your employees and all of your workflows and all of your platforms to agentic AI to benefit from this exponential growth curve before your competitors do? That's our job at Salesforce, to deliver you that platform. And we've been doing it for 27 years, as I said, bringing you from cloud to mobile to Agentforce just about a year and a half ago we launched it. But now we need something new. We need something specifically designed to go fix those problems, those integration challenges of how do we bring the AI itself to the context and understanding of your business and your customers. What does that actually look like in real life? Not in a demo, but in practice. What does it look like? Well, just 2 weeks ago at our developer conference at TDX, in fact, it was Joe Inzarello, he's right up there in the front row sitting next to Marianne in the green, he rolled out the solution. And we call this Salesforce Headless 360. Now, in a developer conference, you can roll out a word like headless and everybody understands. At New York World Tour, I'm not sure that that word makes any sense. I think maybe there's a few of you that are like, what, headless? That's a weird name. What does this mean? Well, I want to unpack this just a little bit. You know, what headless means is we've decoupled the underlying platform from the user interface. And that is really important because what AI has done is it has totally changed software, as I mentioned. I want you to think about this for a moment. Every single piece of software that has ever existed, that has ever been built and written in the entire history of the world was coded by a human being alone. If it requires implementation, like a lot of enterprise software, it was implemented by a handful of human beings, and then it's used by only human beings. What agentic AI does is it changes all three of those things. Your software can now be written, can now be built from the ground up by not just a human, but by a human who's augmented by a coding agent. So we can innovate faster. Your implementations, which used to take dozens, maybe hundreds of individuals and months to complete, 6, 9, 12 months to complete an implementation, can now be done in just a few days if we do this right. And then finally, the end product, the applications, the thing that your users need to use, we don't need complex UIs anymore. In fact, just a few weeks ago at our recent Slack event, Parker Harris, our co-founder, stood up and said, you may never have to log in to Salesforce again. And we're going to unpack what that looks like. All three of these layers are being changed by agentic AI. And so what Headless 360 represents is a reinvention of our platform designed for all three of those changes. It's customer first, as you would expect. It's agent first, it's conversational, it's unified, and it's extensible. Now let's unpack each of those. Headless 360, it's agent first. It is open to any agent. Now, what does this mean? Well, if you think about the way agents work, they have an LLM, but they need context, they need data. So how do we get that data to it? Right? That's one of the most fundamental problems that everybody has when building agents is how do we get the data to the agent? Well, what we've had to do is develop new protocols. In partnership with Anthropic, we developed a new protocol. Well, we didn't, they developed it, we helped implement it, called MCP. This is a protocol that connects your data right to the AI. It does it securely so that as you're interacting with an agent, all of that context about your business comes over. The entire Salesforce platform is now available as open MCP servers, so you can build agents with Salesforce, you can build agents outside of Salesforce, and all of that context is available to those agents. You can implement with those agents, you can implement Salesforce with Claude Code, whatever you want to do, all of that is now open. Your developers that are in the room or back home, tell them this. This is going to solve one of the most fundamental problems for them. Now, when I keep saying data, connect all this data, well, what are we really talking about? What we're talking about is the context of your business. And all of that context, how your business works, your sales motion, your service motion, right? All of that context, your products, how your products show up, all of that is codified inside of Salesforce's applications, sales, service, commerce, marketing, and more, and all of the industry add-ons that come on top. Now, all of that is available as an MCP server so that your agents can start to build and connect with those applications as well. And we can do this really across any workflow. We can do it in any interface. As I said, you may never have to log in to Salesforce again, so where are you logging in? Well, we're seeing user behavior change, right? People are now working inside of meetings and they just want the agent there within the meeting. They're now off on ChatGPT or Claude investigating or researching some things and they want an agent right there as well. And another huge advancement of Agentforce 360 is this ability to bring your agents, to bring Agentforce across any surface. Now, there's one service that's really important, and that, of course, is where your employees are. And your employees can really be anywhere. They can be in Teams, but they can also be inside of Slack. Now, what we've done with Headless 360 is we've made it possible for Slackbot to connect these agents to all of your business context. So as your employees are working inside of Slack, they get the answers that they need. They're able to understand what's going on with their programs, and in my case, their campaigns, without ever leaving Slack. This is what Parker meant by you may never have to log into these discrete applications again. We're able to just consolidate all of that UI into a conversational experience right here inside of Slack. And then, of course, we need to get all of our data together. We do that with Data 360, and you all have heard a lot about Data 360 from us in the past. This is incredible now with Informatica as well. We can touch every entity across your organization and connect all of that as well, and we can do it in a federated way. Now, the last thing we need is this needs to be an ecosystem. We need this to be extensible, which is another little bit of a developer word, but it just means that all of your developers, as they're building on Salesforce, they can build that and then can put it back into an ecosystem so everyone in this room can get benefits from what other companies are doing if they want. It's not just about Salesforce, it's about the broader ecosystem. And what pulls this all together is what we've been working on for about 2.5, 3 years now, which is a complete re-architecture of Salesforce in order to make this possible, in order to get it ready for these agents, for these coding agents, for these implementation agents, and ultimately for your humans, your agents, and your platforms to work together. It's all based on this agentic architecture with the models, your data, all of your business process, your agents, and then your user experience. Now, there's agentic enterprises just like Salesforce doing exactly this. We're seeing Pandora hit 60% autonomous case deflection in just a few weeks. That's incredible. We're seeing Lennar, which is the country's biggest home builder, booking home tours now completely autonomously with their Lisa agent. This is presenting an opportunity of scale and growth for every organization, and that's exactly what we want to show you today. And as usual, we are going to do that the way we always do it, through the lens of 3 incredible customers. We're going to start with Canada Goose, we're going to go to Engine, and then we're going to go to Dell. And to help get us started, if there was a Mount Rushmore of Salesforce speakers, this next speaker would almost certainly be on it. Please welcome the incomparable Leah McGowan Hare.
Thank you, Patrick. I think that was the best intro, Mount Rushmore. I'll take it. Hello, New York. It's always great to be back at my old stomping ground. Shout out to Brooklyn. So to preparing for you, okay, Brooklyn, I see you. To prepare for this, I did a little retail research and went to the Canada Goose store. And I was not alone. It looks like our amazing demo drivers, Miles and Gus, also did too. And listen, when I went to that store, I can attest to the fact that Canada Goose is a global leader in premier performance luxury. Now, even the best of brands struggle with how to provide that premier service across disconnected channels. Now, before Agentforce, providing that high-touch service required their teams to jump frantically from screen to screen, piecing together data, all the while the customer waiting. But today, Canada Goose has turned that customer journey into a continual conversation. By automating over 89% of their routine tasks, it's freed up their team's time to go ahead and focus on that high-touch service that drives customer loyalty. Now, I know many of you are here in this audience, and you may have teams that are feeling that same pain point of providing that luxury experience across disconnected data. But what if we could take away the time from them managing handoffs and running around getting together data and focused entirely on the customer? Well, I'm gonna show you a demo that's not a what if, but a what is. And it's gonna show you how we can make this a reality. We're gonna start with an amazing voice-first experience, and then we're gonna jump into the power, the full power of the Salesforce platform and see how Data 360 really powers that experience. And then we're gonna look at how do we bake in trust and control? How do we create these amazing experiences? We're gonna pull back the curtains a little bit. Are you all up for this? All right, so let's get into it. So here we are at the Canada Goose website. And Fiona, because Salesforce is headless, has options. She can either choose, messaging, voice, or even online. She chooses to call. And because this is built on the world's #1 CRM, the agent already has full context of the customer. So let's listen in.
Hi, thanks for calling Canada Goose. How can I help you?
Hi, I'd like to make a return.
Absolutely, Fiona. I am pulling up your details now. Are you calling about your most recent order?
Yes.
Got it. I have your order here. I also have your contact details. Would you like me to send your return label to your email or through WhatsApp?
Through WhatsApp. And I'm looking for something a little lighter for spring. Do you have any recommendations?
Done. I've just sent it to your WhatsApp. For personalized recommendations, I'll connect you with a Canada Goose-style expert who can help you find the right option.
Perfect. Thank you.
Now that was perfect. Thank you so much, Fiona. And Patrick was right. Winter's over, so I need a little lighter jacket as well. That was amazing, and let's unpack what we just experienced. When Fiona called in, they immediately recognized her. There was no identification or repetition. And the agent didn't just answer the questions, it took action, processing the return and sending the label to her preferred channel, which in this case was WhatsApp. Now, what also was really interesting is what you didn't see. Agentforce was behind the scenes working with the CRM, pulling in data from Data 360, and analyzing the voice calls for intent signals and rendering it right here in the Agentforce Command Center. But now let's jump into the perspective of the stylist. I also want you to note when Fiona had a question about styling, it seamlessly brought in an agent, a stylist here. So here we're looking at Agentforce Command Center. Now this is the full power of the platform. Here, this is not just some customer contact center bolted on and stitched together with some AI tool. What you're seeing here is voice, CRM data, AI agents native to the platform. So the stylist has everything they need right at their fingertips to go ahead and help the customer. And because this is powered by Data 360, the stylist has the full context of the customer, not just the service incident. Here they can see their past purchases, their preferences, and every engagement across the touch points. And right alongside the stylist, Agentforce is going ahead and serving up recommendations so that the stylist can focus totally on the customer and not playing catch up or searching. Now here's the thing. Most AI systems, they can answer general questions. I'll give them that. But very few can carry this context, this level of context into every customer interaction. Now, in my role, I get to work with our FDEs, our forward deploy engineers, shout out to them. Okay, they're in the back because they're working hard. Now, here's the thing. We get to work with our customers in building out our roles and responsibility of the agents. And as you heard Patrick say earlier, everything in Salesforce is now exposed as an API, MCP, or CLI command. I know that's a lot of three-letter acronyms, Leah, but this is what democratizes access to our agents. It gives them access to all the goodness of the platform. This is the essence of Headless. Your customers aren't tied to a certain channel. They move, we move, just like that. We meet the customers where they're at, right? And here it allows us to bring humans, agents, and the platform together in a really powerful way. So what I want to do, if you all are up for it, what I want to do is pull back the curtains even a little bit more and show you how we were able to create this magic. Are you up for that? Okay. So here we are in Agentforce Builder. This is where we design and deploy agents. Now in here, there's a lot of goodness. We're gonna go ahead and expose one of our sub-agents. Now this is where you define the behavior of your agents, what they can, but even more importantly, what they cannot do. And if you notice, this is all done in natural language. Now I want you to remember when Fiona called in, the agent knew who she was. And I know you're thinking, well, how did that happen, Leah? Well, I'm going to tell you. Right here, we got ahead and got the information. We got their name, their past orders, all of their information right there. So the model is reasoning in real time, grounded in customer data. Now, also, if you remember, when Fiona started asking style questions, the agent was like, whoa, let me bring in a human to handle that. That's because we put in a guardrail that said, right there, when asking for styling, bring in a human. That, my friends, is not a suggestion. That is a rule that cannot be broken. Just think about in financial services or healthcare. A wrong answer isn't just a bad customer experience, it can be a compliance risk. And we don't want those. So here, we define it once, and it's executed everywhere. Built once, activated everywhere. Now, I want to pull back the curtains just a little further. You guys open for that? Yeah? Okay. You still with me? All right. So now what I want to do, I'm going to show you actually the code behind this Agentforce script, right? The power of Agentforce script. This code right here is the code behind the agent. Remember the agent that Fiona was engaging with? Just nod your head. Yeah, I remember that, Leah. This is the code that built that agent. And now you're thinking, okay, so what? That's great. Most people think, okay, a developer wrote that. Plot twist, no. This was built by a coding agent here in Agentforce Vibes. Now you could use Claude Code, Codex, Cursor, your choice. It doesn't matter. It all works in Agentforce. But what you're seeing is an agent created by an agent. I know, shut the front door. This is amazing. And what it does is it lets you go beyond the limits of human capacity. Now, don't get me wrong, I love to code. But you know what I love better? Watching my ideas come to fruition faster, innovating faster, accelerating innovation. That I love more. But what you're seeing is human design, agent built. That is an agentic enterprise. And so we were able to see the amazing story of Canada Goose. But I also want to share another amazing story of a customer, Engine. Let's go ahead and roll the film.
Engine was a company going through explosive growth.
There's now 1,000 of us inside the company. It's just scaled tremendously. We're a modern travel and spend management platform. It's a very big space, very ripe for disruption.
Members of our support team were doing 300 cancellations a day.
We were all doing the best we could with the tools and resources we had available to us at the time.
But there was still only so far you could go with that.
You simply need something that is ubiquitous, that everything can tie into. Salesforce is the operating system that makes it seamless. It's the platform that the world runs on.
We had the use case, we had the right partner. And Demetria and I just had the willpower. We're gonna get this thing done.
We built what's now called Ava, Engine's virtual assistant, in 12 days.
The first few days were spent just opening up Agentforce Builder, typing in prompts. We tried to break it every which way we could before we put it in front of customers.
I've worked with chatbots in the past, and agents are just a lot different. Trailhead makes it very easy to start learning, and that allowed us to develop Eva very quickly. We track how many of our cases are actually handled by Eva, and we are at 50%. She could now recall information about a booking, answer people's questions about their reservations, saving the reps so much time so that they can focus on things that really matter.
Now we have 5 agents helping across the company, whether that's customer-facing or employee-facing. Agentic AI is only as powerful as the systems that you connect it to. Making sure it's rooted and connected to the right data is mission critical.
Data 360 is at the heart of our infrastructure. Without it, we wouldn't be unified.
And for customers, you're getting what you want faster. Slackbot now is essentially an extension of the knowledge base. New people can go into Slackbot and say, who does this? And where would I find that? Having our entire knowledge base in Slack in a moment's notice is a game changer.
Slackbot truly is the ultimate teammate.
5 years ago, the question always was, is this possible? Can we do that? And now it's like, of course we can.
Having Agentforce, Data 360, Tableau, and Slack integrated in one system is just extremely efficient.
It's no longer humans versus agents, it's humans with agents.
CSAT goes up, costs to deliver go down, customers are happier, we're getting them answers faster. What's the trade-off? There's no trade-off.
You can feel it from every person at Engine. We all actually believe in this Agentic Enterprise.
It's just an incredible opportunity for all these businesses. If you run on Salesforce today, I mean, you're nuts if you don't.
Please welcome Rob Seaman.
Thank you, Leah. Raise your hand if you traveled in for this event. All right, so Engine is a B2B travel platform that makes travel for large events and even planning large events like this easier for people like you and me. And while there are 1,000 people, what's really cool about Engine is they were agent first and Slack first from day one. They're not just experimenting with AI, they're running their entire business on it. And I want to show you how they are using the Headless 360 to power their business, but how you can use it to transform yours. And I'm going to start with a new acquisition we made of a company called Qualified. Qualified's an amazing company with an amazing product called Piper. What Piper is an agentic SDR that sits on your website and actually turns that web traffic into pipeline and buyers 24/7. Now, Piper can determine the intent of the user. It can reach deep into your CRM system. It can qualify leads. It can book meetings. It can have the voice and tone of your brand. And you can actually brand it as you would like, as you'll see here in a second, as Engine did. And it's going to be the starting point of our demo today. We're going to walk you through web traffic on engine.com, and we're going to show you how Eva, the branded Piper agent for Engine, is actually qualifying leads and booking meetings directly with sales reps. We're going to show you how those sales reps are prepping for those meetings through Slackbot and using Tableau and the MCP servers that Patrick mentioned earlier. And then lastly, we're going to actually do a meeting with a customer, and we're going to show you how you can automate CRM. Again, as Parker said, never actually going into a Salesforce interface, but doing this all in a headless fashion that improves seller productivity. So I'm going to start here on the Engine website. Okay, here you'll see it's an end-to-end B2B travel platform. So what I want to do is actually look over here on the right, and here you can see Eva, the AI SDR agent. And what's cool about Eva is I can actually just speak to her. You saw this in the previous demo as well. But I'm going to hop in here, and I'm going to request to speak with Eva. I'm going to switch my mic real quick so you don't have to hear the echo. Hey, Eva, we're organizing corporate events across a few cities globally. Can Engine help with booking travel for large groups and tracking spend?
Here's a quick visual. Our platform lets you book flights, hotels, and rental cars all in one place, with one invoice and no cancellation fees. How big are these groups you're managing travel for?
So what's really cool about this is Eva has the voice and tone of our brand. It actually has the visual assets. It deeply understands our product catalog, and it knew what I was asking about. So it came back with a really expedient response that really matched my intent, that's in the voice and tone of Engine, uses their branded and styled creative assets, and gets me the answer that I want. Actually, for the sake of this demo, I want to skip ahead and ask about pricing. Can you tell me more about pricing?
Pricing depends a lot on your unique situation. To connect you with our team to talk through pricing, could you share the best email to use?
So what's really cool about this is earlier you heard Engine talking about having worked with chatbots before and agents being fundamentally different. What you're seeing here is Eva not follow a static script, but actually reason through a sales cycle. So if you had a human SDR that was working with the lead and somebody hopped to pricing, you'd be like, whoa, this person's actually really interested. I should skip past some of the standardized stuff that we do, and actually, they're highly qualified. Let's get in and actually have a meeting with them. And that's exactly what Eva's doing right here. So I'm going to go ahead and share my email address.
Feel free to pick a time that works best for you, and we'll connect you with our team.
Cool, so what this is actually doing, you'll notice this actually is reaching into CRM in an entirely headless fashion, and it's figuring out that I'm part of the NovaGrid account, and it's finding me the appropriate sales rep to meet with. It's looking at their calendar and providing me with their availability. So I'm going to pick a time right now, let's say, confirm that, and have it booked.
Great, you're all set. You've got a meeting with Sam Raskin on April 29th, 2026 at 11:30 a.m. EDT. Anything else you'd like help with before then?
We're good to go. Thank you. All right, so we have actually booked a meeting, again, entirely headlessly. So we've qualified a lead, discovered who they are. We've qualified the fact that they're extremely high intent because they're interested in pricing. We've reached into our CRM, found the appropriate account team and rep, availability on their calendar, and booked it. So now what I'm going to pivot over and do is actually show the experience of the rep. And that rep lives in Slack. And this is the today view in Slack. So here you can see their to-dos, what's coming up from their Slack messages. On the right-hand side, you can actually see their calendar and their agenda for the day. And importantly, you can see that discovery call that was set up by Eva with NovaGrid. And so what we want to do is, that's actually coming up quickly, we want to get ready for that meeting. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to hop over to the NovaGrid account channel because they're an existing customer. And what is in the NovaGrid account channel, this is all the rich context about the account team and how we support NovaGrid as a customer. It's their goals, it's their priorities, it's the people that matter, it's the products and services that they've used from us in the past, and what they're interested in this particular moment. But what you're also going to see here in Slack is you have a personal agent that is at your disposal at any given point to help you. And right now, I'm going to ask it to help me prep for that 1 p.m. with NovaGrid. So what Slackbot is doing here is it is actually reading the unstructured information that you see in Slack, certainly here in this account channel. It's reading the structured information about NovaGrid that's stored in the CRM system, Salesforce, but it is also looking at the exhaust of the conversation that happened with Eva. And it's generating this canvas that you see on the left to get me ready for the meeting. This did not exist 30 seconds ago. This is not human created. This is entirely agent created in an entirely headless fashion. You can see it's got context from our Slack conversations. It's got structured information from CRM. It's also got analytics and dashboards from Tableau. So what I want to do is, this actually shows me that NovaGrid is a past customer. So I want to dive into what are the primary drivers of customer satisfaction with them in our past events that we've booked for them. so that I am prepared for the next meeting coming up. So I'm actually going to drill into that and say, hey, what are the primary drivers of our CSAT scores with Novagrid? What's really interesting here is if you watch these thinking steps from Slackbot, this is interrogating the Salesforce MCP server and the Tableau MCP server. So what I want you all to feel confident in, think of Slackbot as the first best customer of the Headless 360 within the Salesforce product portfolio. We are absolutely pounding the Salesforce and Tableau MCP servers every single day with 83,000 employees at Salesforce. And it is fundamentally changing how we work. And you can see here, it's actually showing us that transportation is one of the primary drivers for negative CSAT scores from Novagrid. And that came back to me directly from that Tableau MCP server. So now I know going into the meeting, I have all this rich context. I know I need to talk to them about transportation. So why don't we hop over and actually do the meeting? So what you're going to see here is this is not a Hangout, it's not a Zoom, this is actually a Microsoft Teams meeting. So you're also going to see something entirely new here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop open Slackbot outside of Slack. So this little window that you see down here at the bottom, this is Slackbot outside of Slack on your desktop. And you can see that we said start taking meeting notes. Importantly, what this is doing, so this is not actually attending the meeting, but this is tapping into your local device audio. And it's listening to the meeting, and it's becoming a personal note taker for you. This is all about driving seller productivity. So I can be present with a customer, I can listen to what they're saying. In this case, you'll actually see that they're sharing a URL to a Google document or a OneDrive file. I can't actually read that. And they're going to ask Slackbot to read it for them. So I don't want to step away from the meeting and actually open that up and read it. I'm just going to ask Slackbot to do it. And so Slackbot's using the enterprise search connector is actually going to go in and read that file. And on the fly, during the meeting, it's going to generate a summary of the file that was shared from the customer. It's going to read all the content in it. And again, I can stay in the meeting and listen to the customer. So here you can see there's all the details of the sales event that they're planning, exactly what I need to know. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to fast forward happy path to the end of the meeting and say they're super interested and they want to move forward. So we're going to ask it to summarize the meeting notes. So this is going to kick out the meeting notes that it's been listening to, again, through my local audio. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to ask Slackbot to go in and update my pipeline based on what happened in this meeting. Now, again, you can see this is a great example of keeping a seller massively productive and in their flow of work. So I just gave it the meeting notes. I didn't even give it. It just knows it has the meeting notes. And I said, hey, can you update our pipeline? And it's actually going to take this Novagrid opportunity for the event that we're speaking to Eva about, and it's going to move it from the discovery phase over into the negotiation phase. You can see Slackbot asked me to opt in and actually allow rights to Salesforce there in a headless fashion. So this is going in and it's actually updating that opportunity again from the discovery phase to the negotiation phase. So if we hop back over to Salesforce, this is actually a list of all the opportunities from my Salesforce instance right here in Slack. And if I refresh, you can actually see that Novagrid opportunity is going to move from the discovery phase into the negotiation phase. And that is the power of the Headless 360. So what you've seen is seller productivity from qualifying leads in an entirely headless fashion with Eva, an agent powered by Piper. You've seen Slackbot use the Salesforce MCP server and the Tableau MCP server to get a sales rep ready for a meeting without leaving their flow of work. And you've seen Slackbot actually listening to a Teams meeting and autonomously updating CRM in an entirely headless fashion right from that sales rep's desktop. Now, I couldn't be more excited to tell you about another customer, and to do that, I want to welcome up Marianne Patel.
Thanks, Rob. Dell is an agentic enterprise, and they're not just trying AI, they are jumping all in, and it is paying off. Because before, they had armies of people to handle their critical operations, keeping them alive. Sending emails, chasing down forms, getting approvals. Sound familiar? Well, today, 19,000 users at Dell have automated all of the workflows that many of us rely on every day. Compliance reporting, service onboarding, contract renewals. And this is amazing because it's sitting on top of Headless 360 at enterprise scale. This is not just automation. It is orchestration with agents and humans working together. Now, I bet some of your best people, they're still doing a lot of work every single week that a machine could do. Well, what if we could give them that time back? I am so excited because that is exactly what we built. We are launching today Agentforce Operations. And we announced this at Dreamforce, but now it is ready for every single one of you. We now have out-of-the-box blueprints and agents for all of the common workflows that you run every single day. All of this is ready to go. But I know what you're thinking. I have processes that are unique to my business. Great, you can automate that too. I'm gonna show you 3 things in this demo. 1, you can automate any process. Doesn't matter the starting point. Perfect PDF, crappy whiteboard, which you will see in a second from me. Second, you are in control. You choose where you want to bring agents in to do the work and where you want a human to do it so that it happens every single time. And 3, the work is going to come right to you, right where your teams are working, right in the tools that they're using. So before I get started, I want you to think about that process that you love or hate in your company that's running on email and sheer force of will of all of the teams that are coming together to go do that. Well, let's jump into this demo and see what that looks like at Dell. This is the Dell service provider onboarding process. It looks pretty simple and pretty manageable, but in reality, this is a coordination nightmare. Let's just use an example. Here, submitting forms. These service providers, they do local installs and maintenance, so we need to make sure they have compliance information, tax information, insurance. This requires someone at Dell to look through every single one of these forms. That is hours for every partner that they're onboarding. And what if something goes wrong? Well, it's incredibly important for Dell that they make sure that none of their service providers fall through the cracks. So they want to make sure that if they have any issues, they're going to update it to the compliance team. Now, these green moments, these are all of the human moments that we want to keep. We want to really protect the human moments that deliver the best of our business. And there's a lot of tedious work in these blue moments that we're going to be handing over to AI. So Miles, can you upload a picture of this amazing document that I've written? So while we're doing that, I want to address my friends in the room who are in regulated industries. I know what you're thinking. You're going to show me a snazzy AI demo, but it's not going to work for me. Why? I have regulators. I have compliance obligations that don't bend. And I'm not going to just trust AI to handle my business process. Totally fair. But we built this exactly for you. Because trust is our #1 value. Everything in here is fully auditable. Your compliance team is going to know exactly what happened and exactly why. And those human moments, the ones you really need for regulatory reasons, you can protect them. Because with AI, you're not losing control. Here with Agentforce, we are ensuring that it meets your high standards every single time, whether you use a human or an AI. And also, we want to make sure that all of this is working. How do we do that? Well, Headless 360. It is connected to how Dell works. Their customer 360, data 360, collaboration tools, email and docs. All of that is there so that Agentforce knows exactly how Dell's business is running. It has the context of that, so it's able to pull this information. Now, if you go back to the screen, you'll see there are a lot of words on this screen that did not appear on my pretty whiteboard. And the reason is the AI has been trained on all of the models that apply to your industries. So you can upload something like this and we'll know, okay, for your industry, these are the steps. This is what compliance means. This is what trust means. This is what security looks like. And so while it may take many organizations to automate processes over months, we're going to do this in minutes, but I love cooking shows, so I'm going to Martha Stewart this forward and fast forward to something we ran a little bit earlier today. What you'll see on the screen is every single process that we just built. All of the steps. What's the data that's needed? Who are the people, human or AI, that should be billing this? And I realized I actually forgot something when I was at the whiteboard. So today, a partner contract actually is pretty complicated. Here you'll see that the document agent is reviewing and approving every contract. That makes me pretty uncomfortable. I want to make sure that the legal team is doing that. Thank you, Sebastian. And so we're going to have the legal team right here, and every single time a partner contract comes, we'll go directly to legal. all of your business process rules. They follow you through this. So if you have a business process where you say, hey, contracts over $500,000, I want to make sure that finance is reviewing that, it's going to happen every single time. You choose when, you choose how, you choose whether it's a human or an agent. So this process looks great, but now let's start using it. I want to see what happens for the people who are doing all the hard work. So behind the scenes, all of us are using many different tools. And Dell's onboarding team, they use Slack. So here, with just a few details, we can kick that process off. And now, because this team is working here and we have Headless 360, every approval, every escalation, and every status update is going to come right here to them. For them, it makes it so that they never need to hunt for an update again. They never need to look for their email. Everything is routed. That is absolutely amazing. Now, what happens after all these forms are reviewed automatically? Well, it's got to go to legal. And maybe some of our legal friends absolutely love working in Microsoft Teams. That is not a problem. Because here, what we're going to do is we're going to show you that AI is going to automatically take this process and it's going to send it right to Teams. The legal team can review it, approve it, and get it all done right there. And when legal has approved it, what needs to happen? It's going to go straight to the partner in their inbox. Not a single person followed up. Not a single person had to remember to forward something or forget something. It showed up right here. They can sign it and go. So I want you to think about what we just did now. We took a highly manual process that crossed many different teams with lots of waiting and lots of manual work in it. And we transformed it and automated it in minutes. This is the power of Headless 360. When customers like Dell are using Agentforce Operations, they are able to save every single team 30 hours a week. That is amazing. And with Headless 360, every team, every workflow, and every tool are now moving at the speed of your business. Back to you, Patrick.
All right. Great job, Marianne, Rob, Leah, as always. So we want to get you out of here. I hope you enjoyed those customer stories. Want to get you out there, getting hands-on with the software. We need to just cover just a couple quick things before we do. First of all, if there's one thing that you do after leaving this room and leaving here today, is here's what I want you to do. I want you to get on the phone, and I want you to call your AE, and I want you to say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. AE, how are you? Happy to hear from you. How's the fam? And then when that's over, I want you to say, can I please talk to my FDE? That's what I want you to do. Go talk to your FDEs. Those are the ones that can help you understand how to put this all together. And if you can't find one of those FDEs, there's one right here. Leah, you can run up here. You can talk to her. So that's number one. Number two, we have a number of amazing sessions here today. If you want to find out how to build one of these service agents, just like you saw demoed today, you can go to this session up here in Theater 1. If you want to build a sales SDR agent, just like you saw with Piper, you can go learn how to generate inbound pipeline with Qualified and Piper in session 2. And if you want to get a little fancier with service, a lot of people don't know that we do this, but we've got HR and IT service as well for all of your employees, so you can go to that at breakout number 3. Now, if this was a YouTube channel, right now is the time we would say thank you. Please like and subscribe. You're here, so you've probably already liked and subscribed, but there is one thing you can do for us, which is you can hit this QR code. That's a survey. We care a lot about putting on a good show and not wasting your time, so fill out that survey. Tell us how we did. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you all soon.